The Democrat operative with 99.8% of the money his law firm gives goes to Hillary. Almost everybody on his little kangaroo group are Democrats, some of them fired by Trump. Talk about conflicts of interest from the Justice Department. They go, oh, we're not really looking at Russia now. Notice that kind of started fading down a little bit. They're still saying it so you don't notice, but they moved on to any crime, any money laundering. Well, they can call money laundering. I've seen cases where somebody bounces a check or on a financial form says they have more money or less money than they actually had when they're buying a house. You know, you're sitting there buying a car, buying a house, doing a credit check. They go, how much do you make a year? And you go, oh, I make this. Well, the FBI will go find that and say, look, 6 years ago on a form buying a car, you say you lied on a federal document. Doesn't matter if North Korea every day threatens to nuke Japan, nuke South Korea, nuke the U.S., nuke the protectorate, Guam, the possession, the territorial possession of the United States. The most westerly possession of the United States. That means you, the citizens. Remember, we the people, right? No, ladies and gentlemen, we get to hear that Paul Manafort, that's right, he got raided about 2 weeks ago on July 26th. Isn't that just cute? FBI conducted pre-dawn raid of former Trump campaign chairman Mannafort's home. FBI agents raided the Alexandria home of President Trump's former campaign chairman late last month using a search warrant to seize documents and other materials, according to people familiar with the special counsel investigation into Russia meddling in the 2016 election. From what I'd heard, he had agreed to send them all the documents, but none of it was Russian meddling. It was when he worked for the Ukrainian government in a pro-U.S. capacity. It's kind of like the other guys they've had on national TV that worked on the Trump campaign who were in the CIA, you name it, propping up Yeltsin, and now they're getting subpoenaed and called before the committee. And then the committees keep it secret, won't let them release it, but then they leak disinfo that isn't true. Mannafort, yeah, there it is, the New York Times, had been voluntarily producing documents from congressional committees investigating Russia's interference in the 2016 presidential election. But see, they didn't find what they needed to. So now they've moved on to just, like they said back in mid-July, oh, we're not just looking at Russia now. We're looking at checks. We're looking at deposits. We're looking at taxes. We're looking to see if anybody in the Trump entourage didn't pay all their taxes. Oh, a giant, across the board, bigger than anything Nixon ever dreamed of, FBI, IRS dragnet. And so Trump said, I'm going to fire you if you get outside the stupid Russia thing and start some dragnet. The next day, the Democrat operative with 99.8% of the money his law firm gives goes to Hillary. Almost everybody on his little kangaroo group are Democrats, some of them fired by Trump. Talk about conflicts of interest from the Justice Department. They go, oh, we're not really looking at Russia now. Notice that kind of started fading down a little bit. They're still saying it so you don't notice, but they moved on to any crime, any money laundering. Well, they can call money laundering. I've seen cases where somebody bounces a check or on a financial form says they have more money or less money than they actually had when they're buying a house. You know, you're sitting there buying a car, buying a house, doing a credit check. They go, how much do you make a year? And you go, oh, I make this. Well, the FBI will go find that and say, look, 6 years ago on a form buying a car, you say you lied on a federal document. What are they doing to Benjamin Netanyahu? Forget if you love him, hate him, whatever, or pragmatic about Netanyahu, like I am. They've got his wife indicted or facing indictment for cell phone bills that weren't to government people or cleaning crews at her house. He's the prime minister of Israel. I mean, imagine the next thing. Oh, my gosh, Trump. You know, let's look and see if Ivanka has any cleaning crews paid for by the government cleaning her condo at Trump Tower. Remember Colonel Schaefer when he exposed the government wouldn't kill bin Laden and was backing al-Qaeda and protecting him, heading up the anti-al-Qaeda group in the army? They talked about indicting him. The numbers were like $24 in cell phone bills that weren't to the Pentagon, but were to his wife. And they actually said he may have taken pencils home. That's right. They said, I mean, the guy's so clean, pencils and cell phone bills to his wife. That's what they got. And they dropped it because it was so dumb. They were set to indict him, though. We got to look that up. Look up Colonel Schaefer under criminal investigation. It was like 2003. They were having hearings. He testified secretly. They got real mad. And so they then were going to try to indict him. It was in the news like, he had a cell phone bill where $20-something was to his wife and $40-something was to his mom. It was just stuff like that. And I was just reading this in the newspaper. What? Yeah, we've got cell phone bills that might total over $100, and under federal law, that's stealing. We may indict him. You called your mama. So we've got the Clintons giving nuclear weapons, the reactors to create the fissile material, and we've got them giving them the missile secrets and empowering them and sending Jimmy Carter over there and all this stuff, and that's okay. There it is. There's the Inspector General's case number. I guess they closed it in 2006 for his cell phone use. Yes. The internet's incredible. We just pulled it right up. Hell, why don't they execute Tony Schaefer for that? But this is how they operate, and it's the same thing with Benjamin Netanyahu's wife. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, and dinners, too. Dinners paid for by the government, where everyone there wasn't from the government. Oh, my gosh, the prime minister, the president of Israel had dinners, and some of his friends were there, and the taxpayers pay for the dinners. What do you think the dinners at the White House are? When Oprah Winfrey or, you know, Madonna's there. Yeah, there it is. Attorney General indict Sarah Netanyahu. And then I was reading the hundreds of things they're listing. It's like a piece of silverware came up missing. Oh, my gosh. But meanwhile, the Clintons stole all the cutlery and all the plates out of the White House and then had to give them back. Remember that at the George Washington stuff? Sarah to be indicted for using public funds for personal expenses. Let's just move on. And I'm not even defending Netanyahu. It's not about Netanyahu. It's about the Clintons have billions of dollars stolen and given to them by foreign governments to sell out U.S. interest while she was the Secretary of State, where you basically walk up to a computer window via email, tell them what you want, they give you the money, and then she changes the policy, countermanding Obama. Talk about deep state. Our government's so corrupt that you've just got rogue elements running their own thieving operations everywhere. It's pretty much normal now to have all these different factions that are not just ignoring Trump. That's what they do separate from Trump. And a president just kind of feeds a pack of wild dogs and tries to keep them at bay and tries to kiss all their butts. That's what normally goes on with a Barack Obama. With a Hillary Clinton, it's totally different. She's in there organizing all the fraud and making sure it flows through her. Separate, while Obama played golf and did photo ops, she was the president, that's admitted, running the State Department that basically controls all the other agencies, putting in all her people and then just swindling everything, but also trying to shut down our economy as much as she could because, you know, she's got that bull-like instinct to keep her slave that she's pimping down. You don't let one ant stand up, because if one ant stands up, they might all stand up. And then those puny ants outnumber us 100-1. So this is the level we're reaching. So let me give you the big takeaway from my perspective here. We're facing China and Russia. Trump had tried to cut Russia out of the deal and get them to back us. Russia was ready to do it, but the globalists have put the kibosh on that one. China's kind of ambivalent. North Korea is out of control more and more, not even doing what they say. There are real sanctions. This is really coming to a head, but it's out of control. McMaster wants to be in charge of political diversion from his problems. He's pushing for preemptive strikes. That then gives Kim Jong-un the excuse to act like that, and the whole thing is just out of control. But then you get the political piggybacking when Trump had nothing to do with this, and Merkel saying, settle down, Trump. No, you settle down, you communist appeaser. Both your parents, dirty communist. Collaborators after the fall of Germany, putting in the Russian control in East Germany, just as bad as the Nazis in many respects. Like a weird Nazi communist amalgamation, made a real nasty combination there, didn't it? Real stinky thing. But here we go. FBI conducted pre-dawn raid of former Trump campaign chairman, and Roger Stone's joining us exclusively. Former business partners with him. Pretty much, you know, really good buddies. You're going to get the real scoop on this exclusively. But quite frankly, what does this signify? What's the takeaway here? That the coup against Trump is going from a trot to a gallop to an all-out, pedal to the metal, bloody your spurs, yeah, mule, over the edge of the cliff craziness. With a totally political, totally corrupt, completely partisan, total conflict of interest like nothing I've ever seen. It'd be like if you were divorcing your wife or husband and they were the divorce court judges, I've said, over their own case. It's textbook crazy. Just like a Google executive employee manager puts out a very well-penned deal saying, look, we're not advancing people according to how good they are. We're doing it political correctness, and it's messing things up. And I'll take anybody from any pool we can get. There's a larger pool of male engineers, and, you know, we need these people. And so he's fired. You see, first they say, oh, just ban Nazis. Pretty soon it's ban everybody. We just got banned off a big web sharing service deal where I wanted to be able to share ads for our local radio stations on our platforms and basically pay for them, but also have them become self-generating with and actually have a way to have affiliate agreements to help our stations. And they told us, oh, you have the potential to be bigoted, so you're not allowed. And it's a total lawsuit, but do I have the time to do it? At a certain point, I keep saying I'm going to have to file some lawsuits. We're writing a story about it right now. I mean, I have to threaten Google publicly and privately with lawsuits. They have to get letters from me now just to back off and not ban us. You go, oh, we'll just go to another platform. They're going to go to everybody's platform next. We got to hold them and fight them on their territory. Ever heard that before? Got to fight them over there instead of over here? We got to fight them at Google, fight them at YouTube, their creature, fight them on Facebook, fight them on Twitter, fight them on Dig, fight them on Reddit, fight them, fight them, fight them, fight them, fight them. Yes, we're dug in here with our own systems and trying to build them and expand them and trying to get out every way we can. But for every tentacle I grow, they cut one off. I'm trying to shoot out as many spores as I can, as many heads, or hacking my heads off. So I'm growing them faster and faster. Hack one off, 2 more pop out, hack those off, 6 more. They hack those. I mean, and I'm not complaining, but I mean, we're in a fight here. I got like 2 battle axes fighting them. They're hacking at me. We're like, ah, when we're not even thinking about who's winning. That's when you know you're in a fight. You ain't thinking about winning. You're thinking about surviving. That's where we are. Okay. So, nuclear war, top British newspapers say, find out, you know, your nuclear fallout shelter. That's on Infowars.com. They're accelerating their incredible witch hunt because there is no Russia stuff. So they now just want to have a criminal investigation so that it just looks bad, and then, you know, have this grand jury indict Trump when they're 90+% Democrat voters in the District of Criminals. And just, oh, look, indictments, oh, FBI raids. But we never saw those FBI raids. We never saw those indictments. We never saw anything. with Clintons and Lynch and the corruption and the Chinese generals inside the White House and the missile secrets and the cattle futures and the dead bodies and the foundation and the Haiti looting and the emails and the illegal server and the communications from all these foreign governments and corporations saying, we'll have the $3 million in next week, and then can we meet with her the next day? She's coming to Morocco. We'll have 12 million wired before she gets here. And we need her to then bring in sanctions to shut down U.S. phosphate. I mean, it's all there. She shuts down hundreds of millions of phosphate. She gets 12 mil. Just cut and dry, baby. Like robbers coming out of the bank with bags of cash in their hands, and the nightly news is there catching them with the police. She's just got bags of money in her hand, just right there. Meanwhile, the FBI, the Russians, they've raided in a pre-dawn SWAT team raid. Mannafort, the dangerous criminal with no criminal record. How dare him? We're going to get him. We'll be back. I'm Alex Jones, your host.
If you are receiving this transmission, you are the resistance.
Survival Shield X2 Nascent Iodine. If you're interested in healthy thyroid, if you're interested in well-being, if you're interested in having a higher IQ, which this has been linked to, get your powerful Survival Shield X2 at InfoWarsStore.com.